The JMU Dukes have so many returning players on offense and on defense going into this season, and everyone is starting to talk about championship buzz. Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but with Joe Disher leading the offense, Cameron King there at running back, Charles Tutt on defense, Aries Cole on defense, there's so many good players on this team that they could really make a run at the championship. Now, obviously, the connection between Joe Disher and Jordan Dotson is going to be huge, but what a lot of people want to know about is how will these new incoming freshmen play? Now, a lot of these freshmen are going to be, unfortunately, in the redshirt category, but don't worry, some of them will play. But seriously, enough with all the secrecy. It is time to find out who made this roster. I'm going to show you guys the JMU freshmen right now. Now keep in mind there were over 300 submissions for players this season. There were only 16 spots available on the roster, so if you didn't make it this year, don't worry, you have an increased chance to make it next year. So hold out this season, be an active person in the comments. As always, you must be a subscriber, like all the videos, and that'll help you increase your chances to be a part of the team next year. And something to keep in mind for those of you guys that are not familiar with college football, if you are redshirted, if you are one of the freshmen who's actually selected, but you are redshirted, that means that you will not play this season, but you don't lose any of your 4 years of eligibility. So it'll be like you're a freshman going into next season, but you'll get a ratings boost, which is always, you know, kind of a good thing. Now our top overall player is Robert Branch, the free safety. He's a senior though, so somebody has to fill his shoes going into next season. At quarterback this year, again, Joe Disher returns at a 95 overall with Chase Sinclair behind him, but the freshman Anthony Wyndham is coming in at an 80 overall with 86 speed and pretty good agility and acceleration if you ask me. He's going to be a freshman this season, but if Joe Disher ends up bolting for the NFL, this guy could absolutely challenge Chase Sinclair for that starting QB position next season. At halfback this year, we have returning sophomore Cameron King at an 88 overall with 94 speed. Behind him, we have Tri Sharp. We also have Taylor Woods. Behind him, we have Marcus White, a new freshman who's a 78 overall, still has good speed and 91 speed. Behind him, we have Alex Drag, who's also a freshman, 86 speed, so he's not kind of the fastest player on the field, but he is a power guy. He can see time next season. He'll be a redshirt this season, which means that he won't play. He can see time next season, possibly as maybe a fullback or a goal line situation running back. At fullback, we have the senior Donovan McGeechee returning. At wide receiver, we've got some older players, but we have some younger players here too. Sean McMahon is going to be a senior at an 89 overall leading the squad. Behind him is Henry Castle at 84 overall as a sophomore. The redshirt sophomore Drew Coach is also an 84 overall with 96 speed, I believe tied for the second fastest on receivers on our team. We have Clay Smith, who's 6'2" at 83 overall with 99 speed. This guy is a sophomore who's been a redshirt. He'll definitely get some kick return time. Daniel Clements there at 81 overall for a junior redshirt. And in terms of our freshman guys though, we have Nathan Ernsberger, a 6-foot freshman, 80 overall as a freshman, which is pretty high compared to the rest of our receiving core. 91 speed for him. Jalen Johnson is a 6'4" freshman with 96 speed. It hurts me to redshirt this guy this season, but he will be a monster going into next year. And then behind him we have Rashid McKnight, who is 6'6", 220 pounds. He's a little bit slower than both Ernsberger and Jalen Johnson, but he's still a burner at 90 speed. This guy could be a red zone threat, maybe even a tight end in the future if our wide receiver core is too bogged down with good talent, but still, he will contribute in some way, shape, or form, probably going into next year. At tight end, we're returning Jordan Dotson. This dude won the Mackey Award last year. He's a preseason All-American, one of the, if not the best tight ends in the nation. Behind him is Cole Forster, and then we also have Matt Cullen at a junior redshirt as well. At left tackle, we have AJ Gray. Behind him, we have Michael Schwann, a freshman, 6'5", 290 at 78 overall. Honestly, I think he's going to be our starting left tackle next season because AJ Gray is a 89 overall senior. And then third in our depth chart, who is also an incoming freshman, is Zach Peters, a 73 overall. He probably won't start at left tackle at any point in his career. Next season, we could move him to another position, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Now, left guard, we have Ian Donaldson, who is a freshman. He's one of the actual freshmen that will start this year, which is definitely a little rare. Our team is packed with a lot of talent, but we have no other left guards in our team, so we're going to require this 74 overall left guard to play this season and to be a dominant player on our offensive line. At center, we have sophomore AJ Fry, and behind him is Marvin Stevens, who honestly, I don't think Marvin Stevens will make the cut next season. We're probably going to have to go ahead and recruit another center because honestly, at 46 overall, that's just not good enough to be a backup on this team. At right guard, we have Jason Dunn, who's a sophomore at 80 overall. Behind him, we have James DeLuca, who's also a sophomore, but he's a 70 overall. Not sure if he'll play at any point in his career, but still, he's there in case Jason Dunn gets hurt. And then at right tackle, we have Richard Zhu returning as a junior, 91 overall. We have Evan Muhammad at 84 overall, who's a senior, and then behind them is Cole Maxwell, who's a sophomore. We're actually going to redshirt him this season, but honestly, if we go back over here and look at our left tackle position, I think this is where Zach Peters possibly can make the move to right tackle next season. He'll get a ratings boost. He'll probably be better than Cole Maxwell, but we'll see what ends up happening with him overall. As we move to defense now, Aries Cole, one of the best players on our defense, is a returning sophomore, had a breakout season last year, now he's a preseason All-American, 88 overall for the true sophomore. Behind him is Max Ixer, who redshirted last season, but he's ready to get going at 6'6", 246 pounds. In terms of freshmen, we have Steven Tyler, who's a 72 overall with 84 speed, a good young prospect who could definitely see some playing time next season, maybe an outside linebacker, maybe a right end. We'll figure out a spot for him for sure. Behind him is Derek Wade and then also George Bell. These are both guys at 57 overall, which kind of walked on to the team, but I don't know if they'll make it again going into next year. At right end, we have Samuel McClendon. So this is where I think Max Ixer could definitely spell him a little bit this season, and then going into next season, it'll probably be Max Ixer or Steven Tyler that ends up playing right end for us. At defensive tackle, we have Xavier Lewis returning as a sophomore, who's also been a redshirt at one point in his career. He's an 86 overall. We have Josh Fleener behind him, who's a senior. I don't know how much he's going to play this season. We should have a 2 defensive tackle front for the most part, but still, we needed more depth going into next season. And then behind them, we have Dennis Simpson, again, a walk-on at 56 overall. Probably not going to be a guy that ends up making the team going into next season, but we'll still redshirt him this year to see how he does in terms of his training regimen. At left outside linebacker, we have Curtis Holmes, a returning sophomore who redshirted his freshman season, but now he's ready to go at 88 overall. Behind him is true freshman Hayden Jones. This dude is 6'6", 244 pounds. We're redshirting him this year, but I have a feeling he'll more than likely be getting some playing time next season at 72 overall. Behind him is Mike Glover, a freshman who's returning also at 6'6". And behind them, we have 2 walk-ons, Clay Burley and then Curtis Smith. Again, 2 guys that I don't know if they'll make the team going into next season. You guys have heard that spiel before, but we'll see what happens. At middle linebacker, Steve Smallwood comes in at 87 overall. Behind him is Cade Bell at 77 overall. He redshirted last year as a freshman. Should see a decent amount of playing time this year. At middle linebacker, we have Steve Smallwood, who's an 87 overall as a junior. Behind him is Cade Bell, a freshman who redshirted last season and is ready to go this year to 77 overall. Steven Savage is a true freshman that will redshirt this year at 73 overall middle linebacker. And then Jefferson Summers, also a middle linebacker, a true freshman, will also redshirt at 71 overall. And then down to the very bottom is Joe White. Again, Joe White might be cut from the team by the end of the season. At right outside linebacker, we definitely have some talent here. Dimitri Holloway is a junior at 91 overall who is ready to get tons of tackles and sacks. Behind him is King Ortiz, who will definitely play a lot this season. 87 overall for the redshirt freshman. This dude will be a monster on this defense. We just have to make sure he gets the right amount of playing time. At cornerback, for the first time in JMU's franchise history, we have a good group of guys. We have Charles Tutt at 91 overall, the senior, never redshirted at a single point of his entire career, and at 97 speed, this dude is ready to go. Behind him is Curtis Oliver, 86 overall as a senior. Rashad Robinson is also a senior at 85 overall. Matthew Belk is a redshirt sophomore who's 84. Luke Rogers is 6 foot tall, 83 overall as a redshirt sophomore. Stephen Weldon is a true sophomore who did not redshirt last season. He plays on defense a little bit, but he also spells us on offense at wide receiver a few times each game. Redshirting behind him is true freshman London Bridges Jr., 78 overall with 93 speed. This guy should be a playmaker in the defense going into next year. We have Darius Irving, who's sitting the bench right now, but will probably get a decent amount of playing time. And then very down there at the bottom, Trayvon Johnson, 6'1", true freshman, 73 overall with 94 speed. As you can tell, I recruit cornerbacks with speed, and all of these guys are blazing fast. Moving on to free safety, you can see Robert Branch, again, the highest rated player on our entire defense, returns as a senior. Then we have 2 other seniors behind him at Mike Cobbs and also at JT Fisher. So that means that going into next year, while Dylan Bond will redshirt this season, he more than likely will be our starting free safety next season, which is good news for him. He can take his time, learn the playbook, get a little bit better, and hopefully be an impact player next season as a redshirt freshman. At the strong safety spot, the hardest hitting player on our team, in my opinion, is Rashad Jean Jr. The redshirt sophomore is a 91 overall with 94 speed. Behind him is Ronald McMahon, who is a senior, which means that he's not going to play this year. And then Charles Bishop probably won't be on the team going into next season, is there as a freshman who's getting the red shirt as well. At kicker, we have Timothy Payne, who's an 86 overall as a sophomore, so he's a couple more years to go in his eligibility. And at punter, we have Kyle Black, a 90 overall guy. This dude is ready to get some coffin corner punts. So as you guys can see, this is a talented roster from top to bottom. I hope you guys are ready to be a part of it. Again, if you didn't make the roster this season, don't worry. There are more opportunities going into next season. But now let's check out the schedule and see how difficult it's going to be for us this year. So our schedule is going to be tough. We are ranked the number 11 team in the nation, and we're facing number 7 Tennessee in our very first week competition, technically the second week of college football. After that, we face off against BYU. This time we're going to be playing at home. The first game again is at Tennessee, then versus BYU at home. We followed up with Duke, Louisville, NC State, number 19 Florida State at their stadium. We come home to Clemson. We also play against Georgia Tech and Syracuse and Wake Forest all at home. We travel to Virginia Tech, a number 16 in the nation. We go to Boston College, or excuse me, we play home at Boston College. And then it's conference championship week. All of that ends up giving us an A+ schedule strength, which is going to be incredibly tough to finish in the top 10. But if we can win these games, we have a chance at the national title. So I'm going to show you guys the depth chart really quickly. You can see where everyone is landing. Again, remember, a lot of red shirts were happening for our true freshmen this season, which means they will not play this year, but they'll be eligible to play next season without losing a year of eligibility. Now, Joe Disher, again, is a starting quarterback with Chase Sinclair backing him up. We have Cameron King as our starting running back. We go to fullback, we have Donovan McGeechee with Jordan Dodson backing him up when needed. At the wide receiver spot, it's McMahon, Castle, Coates, Smith, Clements, and then Weldon will be our 6th receiver, seeing if he can get some playing time because we have a lot of guys that are redshirting this season. At tight end again, it's Jordan Dodson. We have AJ Gray here at our left tackle position. At left guard, we have Ian Donaldson. At center, we have AJ Fry. At right guard, we have Jason Dunn. At right tackle, we have Richard Zhu. At left end, we have Aries Cole. Right end is going to be Samuel McClendon. Defensive tackle is Xavier Lewis, and then also Josh Fleener. Left outside linebacker will be Curtis Holmes. Middle linebacker will be King Ortiz and Steve Smallwood. Yes, a little bit of a change there, but we want to get King Ortiz on the field. Him plus Smallwood should be nasty in the middle of the field for us. At right outside linebacker, we have Dimitri Holloway. At cornerback, we have Charles Tuck, Curtis Oliver, Rashad Robinson, Matthew Belk, and Luke Rogers as our starting 5 cornerbacks. And then free safety, we're going to have Robert Branch. Strong safety, we have Rashad Jean Jr. Kicker, again, Timothy Payne, and punter will be Kyle Black. So there you have it, all of the recruits, everything you need to know about JMU coming into this season, our schedule, our recruits, the depth chart, the red shirts, all that information is now been given to you. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys crush the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, check the playlist on the screen, and I will catch you guys on the very next video.